Um, there,
Oh,
there we are. Hi,
we got
Nina.
it, girl. Hi, Linda.
How
Thank
are
you, everybody,
you?
for being patient.
Absolutely.
I usually don't do the lives. I like to just record my book reviews
Okay.
and edit where I need to and go about my day. So I usually don't do the lives, and I don't think TikTok lets you do the live until you got to 1,000. You know, I recently did.
Yes, congratulations. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. So, yes, I wanted to just get you over here because I love the book and I was so appreciative that you reached out to me and was just like, I think this is a book that you're going to like. Um, so, give it a try. And I really like that. You was like the first author that ever did that.
Oh,
So
good.
I appreciate it. And, you sent me the copy and everything. And then I had the matching bookmark.
Yes, yes.
All that. So yeah, so time, sir. So I'll just ask some questions. I'll try to make it as fast as I can.
No, no,
And
take your
then
time.
and then I have some pages that I annotated that I want to ask you about.
Oh, all right. Okay.
Okay. So everybody, you've seen me talk about her book. Here it's Time Served. This is Linda Vann-Dupree, the author. This is available on Amazon, but it's a multi-generational drama, basically, is sorry,
That's
is a
okay.
multi-generational drama, and I really like those. I like family sagas and things like that, and when there's drama and stuff. So what inspired you to do this type of story?
Real life. I think in real life, we all have some level of dysfunction in our families and families
Yeah.
around us. And the sad part is that we don't talk about it. And I think that causes more issues and more problems because we tend to sweep things under the rug, bury our heads in the sand, and pretend
Right.
that these things don't happen, but they're real.
Yes. Yep. That is so true. Maybe that's why I like these type of stories so much, because it resonates with me. Like you said, it resonates with all of us. So
I'm
yeah,
gonna
I really
I'm
enjoyed
gonna
it.
say that some of the characters are based on people that I've seen, things that I've seen happen in my lifetime, but also some of the things are similar to things that have happened in my life and happened to friends or relatives. So, like I said, it's all, although it's fictional,
Right.
it's real life experiences.
Right. And I think Stephen King, and I'm gonna have to paraphrase the quote, but I think he said that fiction is sort of like the truth hidden in there somewhere. You know what I mean? And that's true. It has to. These stories come from something, and it's
Absolutely.
something that we see. But that's crazy. You mentioned the characters, because that was my next question. Like, how did you develop these characters? Because they're so interesting and unique in their own way. Um, Even when they have something bad going on, for some reason, I like October, even if she wasn't the best mom. I don't know why my heart goes out to her.
Life was rough for October. So
Yeah.
in this book, you meet her where her dysfunction is full on. You see her with the alcohol, you see her, you know, allowing herself to be abused and used by men.
Yeah.
Um, but there is a backstory. If you think what she went through in this book, this novella, because it's so little,
Right.
if you think this is something, wait until you read Broken Promises, Shattered Dreams. That gives you the
Wow.
backstory and it shows you, oh, I understand why this woman is bat crazy. I understand why she's done some of the things that
Yeah.
she's.
Yep. And in honor of October, I ran my Ruby Woo Mac. When you mentioned
Yes,
when you mentioned that in
I
the
love
book, it was
it.
like she was getting all dolled up, ready for her date, and it said she was wearing her Ruby Woo lipstick. I was like, oh,
I
I'll wear
love
that too.
it. I appreciate that. You
Yes, I was
were
like, I'm
really
putting that on today.
You really dived into the characters.
Yes, she resonated with me. I just had a heart for it. I really did. So okay, see, you're answering my questions before I can even get to them
Okay,
because
all right,
I
I'm gonna
was
slow down.
I was about to say, so what should we expect with the next book, which would be the prequel to this one,
Right.
right?
It gives you the backstory. It shows you what happened to October to bring her to the lowest point in her life. And in this book, Time Served, that's where she is, the lowest part of her life. But there were things that happened in the backstory. The prequel also gives you the backstory of the other characters because, for instance, Layla is an adult, Treese is an adult,
Right. Yes.
Angela is an
As an
adult,
adult. Mm-hmm.
and so is Wayne. Gives you a little backstory about some of the things that have happened to them, some of the isms and
Okay.
schisms that they've encountered. For instance, Angela, as young as she is, um, had multiple dads, fathers for her children.
Yes, 5 kids and what, like 3 dads? I can't remember
She
the
was
exact.
searching. She was searching.
Yeah.
Searching. She actually married a few of them. Two of them she didn't marry. So yeah, 4 men in her life.
Mhm. Yeah.
But she was searching for, I guess, Mr. Goodbar, forever happiness ever after. I'm not sure, but
Right.
yeah, it didn't doesn't seem like she found it.
Right. She didn't.
Yeah.
But it's stories like this that we need to read. It's just something just encouraging about it. It's something therapeutic about it too, because you start looking at yourself and your own life and things that's going on, and you start questioning things. Um,
And that's the goal. That's the goal. When I write, I want to start conversations. I want people to give thought to their lives, the
yes.
lives around them. And so, with this book and the books to follow, the goal is to, through 6 degrees of separation,
Hmm.
continue to have stories where the characters are connected or interconnected somehow, and
Right.
everything's going to lead back to the first book.
I
But these
can't.
characters are going to be secondary or third
Right.
characters. Yeah. So I've actually started on the third book, which is Untitled. And that
Oh,
book talks about the generation, the actual grandchildren of October.
really?
They're entering college. You know, there are some wonderful things going on. I haven't finished it, but I'm working on it. It's a work in progress.
Okay. Well, I think I like the way you're doing this here. You gave us Time Served, and there are some unanswered questions, but your prequel is going to give us the backstory. That's beautiful. I mean,
Yeah,
there's nothing like a good backstory, to answer those unanswered questions.
I
So
agree.
yeah, I love that. I mean, I highlighted this to death. I notated it to death. So I have different page numbers that I want to look at.
Okay,
Okay,
okay.
so I had to write it down because are you a note person? Do you like to take notes and read your notes? Because I can't remember everything.
I do. I do. It's so funny you would say that because I have notes here in front of me because this was book 2. And
Oh
I
yeah.
just put out the other book, which comes out this summer, and I'm working on the third book. So the characters are progressing and moving along and doing things. I'm like, okay, Linda,
Mhm.
get your characters straight in this book. So yeah, I love to
Right.
take notes.
Gotcha. Good. It's not just me. So
No,
okay, page 41.
okay.
Um, I think this is where Leela is it Leela or Layla? I'm not
Layla.
getting Leela.
I have a daughter, Layla, but this is pronounced Leela. It's Leela. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, so because when it come to names and I can't pronounce it, I just give them a nickname in my head as I'm reading, so there's no struggle.
It's all good.
So yeah, Leela, she's going through, the school system, and she's getting a job as a teacher and moving up and things like that, and then she has to deal with the situation with the principal. that makes me think about things as women in the corporate world or in the working world in general have to deal with. And
Absolutely.
I was like, oh,
And again, that hits home with, it's fiction, but life imitates art and art imitates life because,
yeah.
as you said, we experience these things on
Mhm.
some level or another.
Right. And it puts you in a position where, you're scared to say something. Maybe you should, maybe you shouldn't. Your job is on the line. But I like the way she handled it. I really do. She was professional and straightforward and curt and just she was not about that.
And I think my personal experience is that when you're confronted with a situation like that, when you
Mhm.
keep it professional
Yeah.
and you speak from your diaphragm versus a high octave, one of those
Well,
girly girl.
I don't
No,
know.
stand up
Yeah.
and let them know. I'm
Yes.
drawing the
And
line in the sand
she
right
did that.
here.
Yep, she definitely did that. I like how she was taking a different approach too in the education realm, where she was trying to like, because she was really good at it, where she was like giving the students different things to study and trying to go outside the curriculum. And administrators didn't like that either. So I put a note here. I was like, it seems like educators want to deviate from, seems like when educators want to deviate from the curriculum and an effort to help students more, it's looked at as a problem.
Yeah. So part of that part of the story somewhat mirrored my experience as a Board of Education member. I was a board member of my local town, ultimately moved up to board president, and I was so vested in our children's education.
Oh.
And I encourage the administration to look at best practices. But
Hmm.
sometimes I'm not saying they don't want to educate, but they're stuck in a place
Right.
where they don't try different tactics. They
Yeah.
don't always use best practices. And I've actually seen that with some teachers where they thought outside the box. They met their students right where they were. There's some wonderful teachers. I've experienced some wonderful teachers in the district and some not so great. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's part of where I got that story
Yeah,
from.
and I can tell now that you're saying that you have experience there because just some of the language that was used. Like
Mhm.
my sister used to be a teacher, so I'm sure she would read this and be like, "Oh, I know exactly what she's talking about."
Okay.
All right, what other note do I have here? Gosh, I have so many. Page 44. Oh, I remember this. So on page 44, um, I personally like when authors mention other authors and book titles in their books. I love it. And on page 44, you mentioned Heart of Darkness by Joseph Conrad. What was your reasoning for including that in your book here?
I mentioned Heart of Darkness because it was a book that a good friend of mine mentioned. And she said that there are certain books that resonate and touch me. And she mentioned this book, and I put it in there, just like the
Nice.
lipstick, the
Yes.
lipstick, the perfume. It's a very odd story. I was in the mall, my daughter and I, this woman walked by and we both caught the whiff, the smell at the same time. We're like, what are you wearing? And she told us, Estee Lauder, Goddess. And that's
That's
the
how
name
that.
of the perfume. Yeah, so random thoughts sometimes.
Yes. And I'm not familiar with the perfume, but I'm sure my mom would be. She's like a perfume extraordinaire, the way she knows everything about it. But um, I have something here on page 68. I bet you're gonna say you can't tell me.
Okay.
On page 68, it's about Angela. And
Hmm.
it says that she has to come to grips with paying for what she's done.
Yeah, I can't tell you.
Ah,
You have to you have to read the next book. Yes.
it's killing me. Yeah, I couldn't read fast enough. I'm like, still like, what did Angela do? And I'm like, oh, she's making people wait.
Wait until you see what she did. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that answers. I kind of had a feeling. I was like, I probably.
Uh-huh.
I think that's pretty much. Oh, I love the connection between Angela and Denzel. I like how he comforts her when she's not having such a good day. And I know that was like on page 78, but the way he stepped up for her, their dynamic was really interesting. But it then also made me think about, gosh, does that hurt our children later when they have to come
There
in
you
and
go.
save us?
There you
Um,
go. Because he's a kid. He's a child.
yeah,
He should not be her savior. He should not be
right,
the man of the house. He should
right.
be the child that he is.
Yes,
And those are some of the inner workings that I'd like to bring to the table or present in my book
right.
so that people can discuss and think about what we're
Yeah.
doing with the children.
Yeah, yep. And I thought it was nice of him to do that, but then at the same time, I'm like, oh, it just makes me wonder how it affects him in the long run. Gosh, it just really makes you think about, like I said, think about your own life. And I love the way you close things. I'm not gonna give too much for people who
Okay.
haven't read it, but I love how you close things at the end during a certain eulogy.
Yeah.
I won't say whose,
Okay.
but the way
Okay.
you wrote this was beautiful. You said we all have a prescribed, it's on page 109, but it says we all have a prescribed time on earth. We are born, there are dashes in between, and then we pass away. It's inevitable. We are all going to leave this earth. But some of us leave this earth before we feel those dashes, before we accomplish the things on our bucket list. Sometimes some of us choose not to challenge ourselves to rise to the occasion. Oh, the beauty is that we are all different. We have different aptitudes and different gifts, but it's all up to us to hone in and find a thing that gives us passion. That alone, if anybody's on this live, that alone should make you want to read this book. What
Thank
I
you.
just read. It
Thank
was long, but I refuse not to read it. That was,
you.
oh my gosh.
And this is perfect segue. This is the thing that makes me come alive most, writing. I've been
Mm,
writing since I was 9 years old. This is my passion.
yep.
And what would I do if I didn't challenge myself? If I
Yep.
didn't sit down and write a book and write another book? Because there's a
Yep.
quick story. I actually wrote Broken Promises first. Broken Promises, Shattered Dreams, I wrote that first, but it was in limited edition, in limited print. I had an autograph signing at a college art gallery.
Oh, okay.
I did everything myself. I found the printer, and they typeset it for me, but I did it in the wrong format and words shifted.
Oh,
However, I had people say to me, "Oh, good story. I love the meat and potatoes of the story. Maybe you want to work it differently the next time." A few people were brave enough to say that. Some just said, "Oh, good book," and kept it moving.
right.
But for the people that were brave enough to say,
Mm-hmm.
I can see you doing better. I can see you do differently. But
Right.
I would have done more research to do it better, but I'm so glad that I did it because my mother was alive at the time. God rest her soul. And
Oh,
she had the opportunity to see her daughter become a self-published author. So
nice.
that alone in itself is, I'm
Mm-hmm.
glad that I did it. But like I said, I went back, I did the second edition, added quite a bit more,
Mm-hmm.
revamped it, and added some very exciting and intricate details about how these characters became who they are today.
Yeah. Yes, I love it. I absolutely loved it.
Thank
Yep.
you.
It was beautifully written. The only thing was my unanswered questions, but you can't answer them because
You'll find out this summer.
yeah, because I really would like to know what happened to Langston.
Yes, you'll find out this summer.
Well, I tried. I tried, but yes, I love it. Thank you so much for reaching out to me. We've been communicating back and forth. I'm like, I just felt like we had a decent connection, and I was like, I wonder if she want to hop on one of my lives and talk about it.
Absolutely. This is my first. I thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for the unveiling of the book, chatting about the book, inviting me, having me on. This is going to encourage me to begin to go on myself and do some posts because I think that's going to help. Yeah.
Yeah, and this has become my passion. I started it just for fun, and it is still for fun and a hobby, but I love it so much because I
Very
already love to
good.
read. So I'm like, oh my God, I think I found my passion after reading that line.
You
Yep.
are a natural on camera. So people, I love the presentation. I love the energy. So thank you for what you
Ew.
do and please keep doing it.
Thank you so
You're
much. And
welcome.
thank you to everybody who's on the live. I appreciate you guys
You
joining.
all.
Yes, thanks.
Time served, available on Amazon. And
Go
Broken
get it.
Promises, Shattered Dreams drops this summer.
Yep. All right. All right. Talk to you later.
Talk to you later. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.